I must admit, long after I became interested in astrology and was studying lots of things which are to do with every sign, for example, or what the planets are standing for, later on I got into the question of what is the logic behind all of this? Why do we have a zodiac in the first place? What is a zodiac? And we can speak a lot about this. I don't want to give you too much technical information, but I just want to clarify something. I'm not talking about the groups of stars, the constellations, which are called Scorpio, Libra, Aries, or whatever. I'm talking about something which is a little bit imaginative. The zodiac is a division of space around the Earth. As the Earth travels around the Sun in the year and makes one full circle in the year, it's kind of traveling on a track. It's making this circle as a path, as a field. And this is called the ecliptic. And the ecliptic and the zodiac are the same thing. Because it's like a band, like a belt around us, around the Earth, which is this travel, this path that we are traveling during the year around the Sun. What it looks like from our perspective here on Earth is that the Sun is traveling around us. Because every month we see it setting, rising and setting in a different place. If we look at it, if we make it, decide to get up early and go and see the sunrise every day, and then make a note of where the sun is setting every day, we'll see that during the year, starting from early spring, where it will be exactly on the east, because that's the equinox, one of the equinox points of the year, the spring equinox, then it will slowly, as the months progress, it will slowly start rising up and up more, further up, until in the middle of summer it rises very high, Same thing on the other side. So then it will start rising and setting a little bit lower from our point of view. And in the winter, we almost don't see it, because it's literally on the other side of us, on the underside. We have very, very little sunlight at that point. So the zodiac signs are divisions of all that circular space around us. You see, this is us, the Earth. We are traveling, making a circle around the Sun. And if we imagine we're standing in the middle of a round room, where there are no corners, but it's all like rounded around us. And we hold a lamp, and just point the lamp as we go around and point the lamp into different parts. Every turn we make, we're gonna illuminate a different section of that wall, circuit wall. That's a similar thing, as if we are, the sun is the lamp, which is why every month we see a different picture of the sky. We constantly see a different picture of the sky, because as the year progresses, we are moving in a different relationship from where the Earth is to the Sun. And the zodiac is something that's projected on the fixed stars. The fixed stars are stars which appear not to be moving. We see them all the time. Every time it's, for example, June, the month of June, and we see what we see. What we see there is the groups of stars, the way they are, in relationship to each other, will be the same as next year in June. They actually also move, these ones, but they move so slowly that from the perspective of a human life, we can't register that, we can't see that. It seems like they're staying in the same place. Actually, they're not even there anymore. They were there thousands of years, millions of years ago. But all of astrology, as I said last week, is geocentric. The way we perceive as people living with our limited senses, because there is no such thing as an exact science. Even sciences which claim to be empirical sciences, which astrology is not, they're not more than what the human person is limited, its senses, its perception, its brain. Reality is what we perceive it. I mean, if we are a dog or a cat or a fish, we are going to see everything and perceive everything in a completely different way. So that's why this is mostly symbolic rather than anything else. Yeah. So what we see on the sky from Earth is changing, and if you imagine that that whole space is divided into 12 equal sections of 30 degrees each, then that's how we move to the signs. But Aries is Aries in the spring equinox, not because we see the constellation of Aries there in the sky. We actually do a little bit, but many years ago, I don't know exactly how many, I think several thousand years ago, there was a exact correspondence between where the spring equinox started and where this group of stars called Aries also was located. But over time, it slightly diverged from there. So there was a slight movement of the point of the equinox, of the first point of Aries, where the zodiac starts, where the whole thing starts. This is called the precession of the equinoxes. Equinoxes are, in the spring is the Aries equinox. It doesn't appear anymore there. It first shifted slightly towards Pisces, the previous sign, and now it's shifting towards Aquarius, and that's what the age of Aquarius is about. Yeah, they're saying we are going into the age of Aquarius. We don't know exactly where that's supposed to start, because there is no way they can know exactly when Aries started. They're going backwards. So from age of Pisces, instead of going from Pisces to Aries, we're going from Pisces to Aquarius. Does that make sense? It's counterclockwise, if you can say so. So the age of Aquarius is said to have started maybe about 50 years ago. One age is 2,100 years approximately. So you see that several decades are not making a big difference. There are certain things which are signs of this age of Aquarius, like the advance of technology, starting from the Industrial Revolution until, from about the end of the 18th century. There were evident signs in society, because the ages are about processes in society more than individual things. There were big changes in the way people lived, and communities were organized and so on. Everything started moving a lot quicker than before, and they consider, people consider that deal with this, that maybe it started around the beginning of the 20th century, really. But we are guessing. Other theories say that we are still at the end of the age of Pisces, and maybe in about 100 years, new generations will really be living as in the age of Aquarius. But because of that moving at the point of Aries, that's not the zodiac that we are dealing with, not the stars, not the constellations. It's just the point of Aries when it starts. From there we count 30 degrees, which is every day the sun, when it travels, every day it covers 1 degree. So if you were born on the date that you were born, the sun was somewhere, in not only in Aries, but it was in one of the 30 degrees of Aries. So let's say it was in the 10th degree of Aries, for example. The next day it would have moved to the 11th degree of Aries, then the next and the next day. So if you think about it, and you know that, for example, Scorpio starts the 24th of October, and the previous day, the 23rd of October, was still the previous sign, and somebody says to you, oh, I was born on the 27th of October today, then you can figure out that maybe their sun sign will be at 3 or 4 degrees of Scorpio. Yeah, because it's that many days, from the 24th to the 27th, it's 3 days. So the sun would have traveled 3 degrees, from 0 degrees Scorpio to 3 degrees Scorpio. Already you can determine the degree of their sun sign. Yeah? Oh, and by the way, that's called the tropical zodiac. This thing that I tried to explain, is this imaginary belt around the Earth. There is another zodiac, sidereal, which is the constellations. There are some astrological schools, because astrology is a very vast field. There are so many astrologies. There are so many people concentrating in different things, even if you know a lot about it, the most important question is, where did you learn what you know, from whom, and what was the way of thinking, the philosophy behind this person's astrology? Because you can have as many readings of your birth chart as there are people there to do the readings for you. It's very personal. It's very subjective, actually. The information is not going to change, and maybe all those astrologers are going to tell you things which are correct, but they would choose to concentrate on different aspects of the chart depending on what their understanding of the whole thing is. And so they are, like in every science, people that fight with each other in groups, like, no, the sidereal zodiac is the real zodiac. The others say, no, it's the tropical zodiac. I hope you've seen that from the way I'm going to present the signs and their sequence, why I think the tropical zodiac is more helpful. Because what stands behind the whole logic of it is psychologically more helpful. So for something else, it's not important to remember exactly what every sign does. But it's important, I think, to realize that the zodiac is actually, in that traveling of the sun around the ear, making one full circle, is actually a description of a process. Something is having a starting point and a midpoint, and actually it's got several points which are very important points, and then it returns back to its original place, and a new cycle begins.